This is the ASP World Championship Tour of Surfing, where the elite surfers of the world travel to the most exotic destinations on the planet in their crusade for perfect waves and the title of World Champion. Join us as we look back on the season review of 2003. On the ASP World Championship Tour, the top 46 rated surfers on the planet travel to 12 events throughout the year in their crusade for the title of World Champion. In 2003, that race was one of the most epic battles witnessed in years. And it all began at stop number 1 in March on Australia's Gold Coast. The Gold Coast is one of surfing's deepest talent pools, and Snapper Rocks was the scene of a very popular win at Event 1, the Quicksilver Pro.
This was Dean Morrison's first ever WCT final. Mark Occhilupo has won 12 finals in his career and a world title. But today, youth had the edge over experience as Dean launched a stunning opening assault. His first wave was a 9. Wave 2 scored 9.73. Morrison already had 18.73 out of 20, the 4th highest heat total of the entire event. After surfing 3 heats during the day, Occhi was clearly exhausted. His legs wouldn't carry him through the home stretch. As Occhilupo waned, Morrison just got stronger. As the clock wound down in the final, the result was beyond question. The Snapper Rocks car park had a new king.
It was just like a dream, you know. I was 3 waves off the bat, and I was going, whoa, and I didn't know what my scores were, and I didn't think they were that high. And I heard, and I was like, whoa. And yeah, it's like a dream. I can't believe it.
In April, Event 2 saw the ASP Road Tour travel south to the rugged coastline of Torquay on Australia's east coast. Bells Beach is the legendary location for one of the longest-running contests on tour. Bells would also mark the beginning of a year-long blow-for-blow battle for the world title crown. It would be a fitting final for the Rip Curl Pro. Last year's world champ and runner-up meet head-to-head. Australia's Joe Parkinson versus Andy Irons from Hawaii. 2 of the most electrifying surfers in the world, guys who could be vying for world titles for many years to come. Once again, Andy Irons opened with a killer blow. A near perfect score, 9.8. Soon after, Joel looked like he had the answer, pulling into a deep tube on a larger set wave. But as he made an amazing exit, something went wrong. The force of the wave hitting him inside the tube had driven him into his surfboard, buckling it beneath his feet. Parkinson's father, Brian, had a replacement at the ready, and Joel was back out there. He soon snuck back into the lead with a 6.73. But it was only a matter of time before Irons found a score to pair with his incredible opening ride. With 10 minutes to go, both surfers went into overdrive. Parkinson hunting for a wave higher than 9.01. Irons trying to maintain his lead. Joel came close with an 8.5, but a higher scoring wave just wouldn't appear. Andy Irons walked from the cool Johanna water with his second Bell's victory in a row.
Parko is going to be really hard to beat out there, and lucky that first wave came, really scored with that, and it's just amazing. I don't know. I thought, I got lightning strikes twice.
For Irons, it was a time to savor one of the sweetest moments in professional surfing, the ringing of the bell. Stop 3 saw the ASP World Tour depart Australian shores, bound for the heaviest wave on tour, Tahiti's Chopu. In May, the Billabong Pro marked the welcome return to the podium of surfing's most decorated athlete. Facing off in the final of the Billabong Pro, two of the most exciting surfers on tour. Six-time world champion Kelly Slater from the USA against world number 4 from last year, Australia's Taj Burrow. Straight away, Kelly looked untouchable, scoring an 8.67 and an 8 soon after. Taj was still looking for a strong first score when Slater swung into yet another excellent wave. It earned him a 9.57. 10 minutes into the final, Kelly Slater's score was 18.24. Burrow was struggling on 4.07. But then he saw his chance. That Chopu 2 gave Taj an 8.67. He was back in touch with Slater. But Kelly was about to move well out of range. This wave was a perfect 10.
That's going to be the 10.0 for Kelly Slater. So he makes up another perfect 10.
Burrow couldn't find perfection in reply. With a minute to go, Slater added another 9+ ride for good measure. The King was indisputably back on his throne. This was his first victory in 3 years, and it took him to equal first on the ratings.
After not winning for 3 years, going like 9 years straight, winning, at least one contest every year, and then not winning for 3 years rattles you a little bit. But I knew it was there. I just need to find it,
Let's give it up for the Billabong Pro Champion for 2003, the new world number 1, Kelly Slater. Woo! There he is, your champion, ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Slater.
Suddenly, the race for the world title is looking very tight and very interesting. In equal first on the ratings, Kelly Slater and Andy Irons. Very close in equal third, Joel Parkinson and Taj Burrow. And there's a hungry pack of surfers right behind them. Traveling to another surfing jewel in the Pacific, Stop 4 saw the ASP World Tour drop anchor at another fabled left-hander. In a game of one-upmanship, the defending world champion made an all-out assault on the Quicksilver Pro as an injured Kelly Slater sat on the sidelines. After a brief rest on the marshalling boat to gather composure and to refocus, two known allies suspended their friendship for 35 minutes and stroked out to the lineup of Cloudbreak. The final of the Quicksilver Pro Fiji was about to begin, and it would do so in faultless conditions. Sitting patiently in the lineup, the hooter rang out, "Game on!" Transformed from friend to foe, Irons swung his board around and paddled into a perfect feathering set. Effortlessly, the Hawaiian dropped into a grinding pit that had everyone on their feet in disbelief. Irons' deft touch saw him deep inside a Cloudbreak monster before appearing from the white water and spray. Faultlessly, he gathered momentum down the line and committed himself to another decisive floater onto the inside dry reef. His reward? A 9. Irons was in overdrive. Lopez was rattled and continued to false start with 2 low-scoring rides to his name. But incredibly, the best was yet to come. As the sets approached, the 24-year-old Kauaian once again dropped deep into another Cloudbreak pulverizer and disappeared. Emerging briefly, the stylish Hawaiian adjusted trim and once again pulled in behind the dredging beast, much to the bewilderment of onlookers. Arms raised, the world champion appeared from the wash. Throughout the flotilla of spectator vessels, the whispers of 10 could be heard. And as the scores rolled in, speculation became fact. 3 10-point rides had now been given out during the Quicksilver Pro, and they all belonged to Irons. It was now apparent that no one would be able to stop the inertia the world champ had gathered. To his credit, though, Lopez settled, gained composure, and managed to secure 2 strong rides, including a 7.5. A gallant attempt, but in the end, the Floridian still required a combination of 2 rides to peg back the Kauaian's lead. In defeat, Lopez was gracious.
He's a great surfer. Any wave he gets, it's a good wave. He's going to turn into an excellent score. So, all congratulations to him. He's definitely probably the best backside surfer around, and yeah, he definitely smoked me out there. I wish I could have got out a combination at least to keep a little pride, but couldn't get it.
Irons came to Cloudbreak on a mission, and it was certainly accomplished. A maiden victory in Fiji to add to an already crowded mantle. He charges ahead and is on track for his 2nd world title. But there are still many chapters to write in this tale of twists and turns. The benchmark has been set. The question is, who will step up and challenge the champion? In late June, it was time to cross the equator for the first time as the greatest road trip on Earth returned to the land of the rising sun. With Event 5, the Quicksilver Pro was a battle of epic proportions. Andy Irons, who flew into Nijima with 2 WCT wins to his name already this season, including the previous Quicksilver Pro in Fiji, was pumped to cement his world title defense on a rock-solid foundation. His Nijima crusade had mirrored his year so far, confident and consistent. But would the Kauaian prevail over a surging Joe Parkinson? The 2002 World Number 2's Nijima campaign had been a steady one with moments of sheer brilliance. The question was, had he peaked too early? or was the best yet to come? Irons' intent was obvious, and he wasted no time in racking up scores to gain a steady lead. The 24-year-old scavenged the contest zone in the deteriorating conditions, searching for the superior rides. Parkinson false started and seemed a little rattled as his Hawaiian counterpart monstered the lineup. Irons continued his hungry attack, and the bigger scores started to roll in. First, a 6.33. Parko failed to find similar drive and was bogged down in scores no greater than 5. It was obvious the young Australian had peaked a heat too early. Sensing this, the world champ, determined not to rest on his laurels, took off on one of the better waves of the encounter and proceeded to belt it all the way to the beach. When Irons' score of a 7.07 was locked in, the Niijima Quicksilver Pro was all but over. The world champ had decisively won again. In a replay of their last final together, Parkinson had nothing but praise for his Hawaiian stablemate.
Andy's the best surfer in the world, and it's hands down, it's hard. He's the hardest man to beat.
So Irons continues in the imposing defense of his crown and now has back-to-back event wins. In July, it was time for the ASP World Tour to head back over the equator and to one of the most fabled breaks in surfing mythology. Those in attendance at the Billabong Pro Jeffreys Bay would bear witness to one of the most precise event wins ever, and it would be a wild card that would trigger the avalanche. Sean Holmes was the last South African surfer left in the event, and the time had come for him to again face world champion Andy Irons. In last year's Billabong Pro, Holmes disposed of Irons in the same round. The Hawaiian, determined not to replicate his result of last year, attacked on the hooter, laying down several trademark gouges for an 8.5. It was time for the wild card to strike, and he did so with another 7.33. As the seconds ran down, Irons desperately milked a smaller wave for all it was worth. What it was worth fell short of the 6.16 he required, and a dejected world champ makes an early departure from J-Bay again. It was bordering on dusk when the two lone competitors left in the Billabong Pro prepared for the last clash of the tournament. Damien Hopgood had chipped away at his end of the draw to be rightfully rewarded with his first ever finals berth, but the stylish goofy footer had one more obstacle: Kelly Slater. Slater's run to the final had been nothing short of brilliant, having posted 4 of the top combined scores of the tournament and 5 of the top 10 waves scored, including the only perfect 10. Hopgood's only tactic was to go out hard and quickly build a superior tally against his fellow Floridian. He did so and was first to post a commanding score of a 7.33 with a burst of stylish floaters and hacks. Slater had a few minor scores to his name as he hunted for a keeper. As he stroked into another set wave, the crowd rose to their feet. Kelly wailed down the line, executing his patented forehand assault. As he paddled back up the point, a 9.43 rang out from the judging tower. Kelly now owned 6 of the top 10 rides of the contest. Damien surged and picked off another set wave, building momentum down the line. He displayed his own interpretation of rail-to-rail surfing and was awarded accordingly with an 8.5. Sealing his J-Bay fate, Kelly picked off another set, executing a couple of high-speed snaps and a long floater. He pulled off a carving reverse 360. With an 8.93, the '96 champion was now the 2003 champion. For
it's kind of like, you know, if you draw a scenario for yourself, it's kind of a dream scenario for me. Andy was at the top, fall out first, and then guys start dropping out in the 9th and 5th rounds, and then they're all gone, you know, all the guys ahead of me. So it just makes us all more even.
Let's give it up for the Billabong Pro champion for 2003, Mr. Kelly Slater.
World rankings, and in Kelly's words, it's game on, and the multiple world champ has rocketed into the #2 position, just 660 points behind current world champ Andy Irons. Mick Fanning overtaken by fellow Gold Coaster Joel Parkinson. Morrison and Lopez maintain their positions, whilst Damian Hobgood is the other big climber and leaps from 14 to join his brother CJ in the top 10. One of the highlights at any surfing contest is the traditional expression session, a chance for our touring professionals to bust out of the confines of competition and rating points. Here's a selection of the best action from this year's Foster's Expression Sessions. It was September when Event 7 rolled into mainland America, with Andy Irons entering the lineup to go toe-to-toe with younger brother Bruce. All eyes were glued on the water.
Kelly Slater, currently #2 in the world. He is going to be watching closely, and right now, Bruce Irons drawing first blood, Sonny.
Bruce up in the first wave, trying to make a statement, and
going down. Feeling the pressure maybe, Sonny. I mean, his brother's got the credentials as we see Andy getting up and going.
Andy on a sick turn. That's, definitely the way you want to start the heat. Big turns, hopefully big scores.
And a big score at 9.17, setting the bar for younger brother Bruce, but he can step it up, can he, Sonny?
Oh, yeah, he's in irons. I mean, big turns and big airs, this is what the brothers are all about.
Redirection, that cutback going all the way back, his brother watching on. Well, the pressure right now on Andy Irons, and it looks like a medium-sized set wave going right. Will it be enough? At 6.33, he needs his time is winding down.
Andy's surfing good on this wave, he's surfing quick and really light on his feet, and it's going to be a really close heat.
He'll just get it. Just get it.
Sorry, brother.
And it looks like a good result for Bruce Irons.
Okay, here we go. Well, here we go. The Boost Mobile Pro Final going on. In red will be Taj Burrow. In blue, Richie Lovett. And Richie, I have to agree with you, Sonny, is definitely the underdog. But here he goes, drawing first blood. There's no priority at the beginning of the heat. He's really going to have to turn it up a notch to beat Taj, though.
Oh, he's doing a good job right here. This is the left just lining up, getting some good maneuvers. Nice big floater there. Oh, this wave's just going to town.
You can see the face of the waves, kind of bumpy, smaller than we saw in the earlier rounds. The surfers making the best of it. Taj getting a couple big turns in. Now Taj has won 3 World Championship Tour events before. Richie Lovett has never been in the final. Check it out. The last wave of the heat coming to Richie Lovett.
Richie definitely picking off the best waves, and like I said earlier, I mean, it was going to be the surfer that got the best waves in the heat was definitely going to be the one to win.
And ripping the top off that, then a small floater. Let's see. Oh, contorting his body, throwing it back like a rock and roll. The Aussie contingent cheering him on.
Here we got Richie just finishing up this last wave, you know, float right here. Just setting up for this little last contortion right here. You know, up, back beyond vertical. Just finishing up the way a winner should.
Richie Lovett coming through with the goods. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy has been on tour for 12 years, never making a world tour final. Now he has won his first ever event. Everybody from Australia cheering him on, everybody on the beach. Everybody loves Richie Lovett.
In October, the grueling European leg would herald the final push home for the ASP World Championship Tour. The pristine beach breaks of Hossegor would be the theater for a classic battle in the concluding heats of the Quicksilver Pro. In a dream scenario for the event promoters, the top 3 surfers in the world were through to the semifinals. Add an Aussie bolter who was mixing in uncharted territory, and the stage was set for a thrilling end to the Quicksilver Pro. First in the water was a clash between world #1 Andy Irons and world #3 Taj Burrow. And you could toss a coin as to who was going to win this one, with both surfing at their electrifying best for most of the contest. Taj grabbed an early lead with a 7.5. But Andy was back in the driver's seat after posting a spectacular 9.33 thanks to another amazing tube ride. The Hawaiian sealed the Western Australian's fate with a second wave score of 6.73 to advance to his 4th WCT final of the year. Semi-final 2 was expected to be one-sided, with Phil McDonald taking on Kelly Slater. McDonald paddled out as the rank outsider, as Slater had posted 3 of the top 5 single wave scores, including a perfect 10, and 3 of the top 6 combined scores. And following the pattern that has seen him win 35 contests worldwide, the 31-year-old made a flying start, posting an 8.83 and then an 8 to put all the pressure on his less experienced opponent. Needing something remarkable to be any chance of springing the upset, McDonald rose to the challenge on his very first wave, pulling a monster tube ride that was rewarded with a 9.33. McDonald hit the front with his subsequent 7.63, and the better wave that Slater was waiting for never arrived. The Aussie coming back from oblivion to score an unforgettable win. The final matchup presented a clash of 2 surfers at opposite ends of the scale. For Phil McDonald, this was new territory. It's only his 2nd year on the WCT, and he'd never advanced beyond the quarters at an event, so a win at the Quicksilver Pro would be beyond his wildest dreams. In contrast, nothing short of victory would be good enough for Andy Irons. He's right in the thick of the world title battle, and after losing last year's final to Neko Patarats, the world #1 was looking to go one better. Andy's first wave scored an 8 after yet another impressive tube ride, and the world champion applied the pressure to McDonald with a near-perfect 9.63, thanks to another endless Le Gravier barrel, which he followed up with a gouging forehand slash. McDonald bravely tried to battle back, but the damage was already done. He posted an 8.4 late in the heat to finish with a combined total of 13.73, but it wasn't anywhere near enough. Despite breaking his board 7 minutes from the end, Irons once again proved unstoppable with his total of 18.06, more than enough to make it win #4 for the season. His reward? A check for $30,000 US. But more importantly, 1,200 priceless rating points. It's the 4th time this year and the 10th time in his career that Andy Irons has accepted the winner's trophy at a WCT event. And at only 25 years of age, it's a safe bet to say there'll be plenty more visits to the winner's circle for the man known as AI. A skip across the border to Spain saw the Billabong Pro host a dramatic twist of fate that would see the race for the world title take a spectacular detour. In an odd twist of fate, Australian Phil McDonald matched up against fellow Quicksilver Pro France finalist Andy Irons, with unknown American Nathan Yeomans making up the first round trio. The swell was really dropping, which made the heat a bit of a lottery, and the wild card put his 2 more experienced competitors on notice as he locked in an 8-point ride. Sitting in last place, Irons tried to battle his way back into contention, but he just wasn't getting the waves. His best scoring ride, a paltry 6.27. And when McDonald posted a 7.33 with only 3 minutes left, arguably the most stunning result of the season so far was sealed. World #1 and defending Billabong Pro champion Andy Irons crashing out in the opening round.
Shouldn't even have the contest to have a third round. It's not even our format. I don't remember when they made that meeting or whatnot, but I wasn't there, and I don't remember being asked about it. I mean, I'm sure Kelly will win or Todd or someone, and it'll make it nice and exciting. So just have to shake it off, and can't wait for Brazil.
The Billabong Pro Final presented a clash of 2 of the marquee names on tour. The greatest competitive surfer of all time in Kelly Slater, and world #3 and human highlight reel Taj Burrow. Looking to avenge a loss in the Chopu final, it was Taj who locked in the first decent wave, grabbing the early advantage with a 7-point ride. But Slater answered straight back with a 7.73, the pair swapping similar scores and the lead for most of a tightly contested final. Neither surfer was able to lock in a really high-scoring ride, meaning the title was up for grabs until the dying stages. Taj in the lead with a total of 14.1 out of 20. But as he's done so many times before, Slater found a wave when he needed it most. With just a minute and a half remaining, Kelly locked in an 8.9 with his final ride of the contest. That wave was enough to seal his first ever Mundaka win and a 180-point lead in the ratings.
Feeling so good. I think Andy made a little prophecy at the beginning of the contest. I think he said to Sarge that I was going to go on and win. So thank you, Andy.
Kelly's Mundaka magic means he sweeps the 3 Billabong Pro events this year, adding to his victories at Chopu and Jeffreys Bay. It's the 26th time he's on the podium as the winner of a WCT event. His reward? The traditional winner's trip into the port, thanks to the members of the local surf club. Kelly now leads the ratings on his own for the first time this year. Andy Irons and Taj Burrow will ensure it's a thrilling race for the title. The rest are realistically out of contention, but they've done enough to secure a spot on the WCT for 2004. Departing the continent of Europe for the shores of South America, the ASP World Tour arrived on the picturesque island of Santa Catarina for Event 9, the Nova Shin Festival. For the third time this year, Mick Fanning and Kelly Slater faced off at a WCT contest. With both in devastating form on the final day of the Nova Shin Festival, some high-quality surfing was expected. Slater led for the first half of the decider after following his usual tactic of posting some quick scores to put pressure on his opponent. But Fanning has been getting better with every heat, and the 22-year-old didn't back down. And when the Australian produced an 8.17 with just 2 minutes remaining, it looked as though Fanning would win for the first time since J-Bay in 2002 and go one better than his runner-up finish at last year's WCT in Brazil. Slater hit back with 22 seconds on the clock in typical fashion, adding further evidence to the theory that he has an almost mystical ability to summon up a wave when it's required. This one was a doozy. The world #1 locking in a spectacular 9.37. The second highest scoring ride of the event to regain the lead. But Fanning still had one final shot. In the best finish to a decider this year, the Aussie took off on a wave with just 4 seconds remaining, needing an 8.21 to topple the king. He went awfully close, registering a 7.93, but it wasn't quite enough. Kelly triumphant again, winning for the 4th time in 2003.
The craziest crowd I've ever seen in my life, man. I thought it was bad when I first started. This is heavy. Neither of us could hear. 2 or 3 minutes after the heat, I was going, did you win? He's going, I don't know, did you win? Man, he was really running away there, and we were all trying to play catch up, and to match him with 4 wins feels amazing. Right now, all the points are just going crazy. You know, everyone's right there together, right at the top, and you know, it's still anyone's game.
I'm stoked. Stoked to come back to Brazil and make another final, but sick of getting second here. Hopefully next year will be good, and just like to thank all the Brazilian people. They've just been incredible. Just made my trip so enjoyable, and yeah, obrigado.
But to the victor goes the spoils. And the 6-time world champion never seems to get tired of trips to the podium. And with a reception like this, it's easy to understand why. The undisputed king of surfing's crowd-pleasing win, capping an amazing week in Brazil. Event 11, the home stretch, and the return of the ASP World Tour to the spiritual home of surfing, Hawaii. With the Rip Curl Cup at Sunset Beach, the world title race would go down to the wire as a popular big wave charger wailed in flawless conditions. In a fitting end to the Rip Curl Cup, Sunset was perfect for the 4-man final. Andy Irons knew a win in the decider would see him take over the ratings lead from Kelly Slater. But there was some pretty impressive talent in his way. Jake Patterson showed he wasn't taking any backward steps when he locked in a 7.83 with his second ride, the ideal way to start off a final. Former Rip Curl Cup champion Shane Dorian trumped that with an 8.67 to momentarily take the lead. But that didn't last long. A fired-up Patterson's next ride, a stunning 9.07, and it was officially game on. Irons then upped the ante with a piece of magic that showed exactly why he's the reigning world champion. The Hawaiian pulled into yet another deep sunset barrel, before emerging and tearing up the right-hander with a giant cutback. He completed the masterpiece the same way he started it. The result, the first perfect 10 of the Rip Curl Cup as he moved into the lead. But with Surf Nut and newly crowned Davis Cup champion Mark Philippoussis in attendance, an inspired Patterson drew on his compatriots' recent heroics to answer straight back. Jake locking in his third high-scoring ride of the contest to retake the lead for good.
3, 2, 1.
After a long day in the toughest arena in surfing, the title was his. Jake claiming his fourth career WCT win and his second title in Hawaii.
The Davis Cup Australian team, like last week, inspiration, and I just dug deep, you know, who wanted it the most. I saw those guys struggling, Andy's going cramping and stuff, and I was going, I want it, come on! I was frothing, so I just, you know, hurts more to lose than to, you know, the pain you're going to go through. There'll be no pain.
Presentation time, and it was easy to pick out the winner of the Rip Curl Cup with an ecstatic Patterson all smiles as he eagerly accepted a WCT winner's trophy for the first time since J-Bay in 2001. The stage is now set for a thrilling end to 2003, with Slater and Irons neck and neck heading into the final event of the season. Event 12, the final event of the year, saw the greatest world title face-off in memory finally come to fruition. The venue, the most famous wave on the planet, the Banzai Pipeline. With the ultimate bout of the year about to kick off, the beach and the world's media were at fever pitch. What would transpire in the final heat of the year? As the athletes ready themselves, we go to 1988 world champion Barton Lynch for your call.
Well, this is it. It's come down to the final heat of the final event, the Xbox Pipeline Masters, and a great World Championship battle this year in 2003 between the defending champion Andy Irons from Hawaii and the greatest competitive surfer ever, Kelly Slater, 6-time world champion. But up and paddling on the first wave of the finals, Andy Irons, he's come unstuck. That was looking like it was going to be a good wave, possibly a good start for Andy, but you see here on the replay, the nose catches and he's off the front. Well, that'll warm him up, though. Also in this final, Phil McDonald and Joel Parkinson, both from Australia, both dynamic young surfers and up and riding on the second wave. Kelly Slater. This looks like a good wave for Slater. He's pumping down the line, but not much on offer. And behind him, Andy Irons in the tube. Fantastic start for Andy Irons. Snaps off the top. Oh, the defending champ. He looks like he's hungry for another one. Pulls in there a little head dip and finishes that ride. Well, that was a good score. He got 0.2 on his first ride, but that scored an 8.33 from the judges. Fantastic ride as you see it there on replay from Andy Irons, and he's really put it to Kelly Slater now. Look at this great wave. Who's that? Phil McDonald from Australia dropped down late, pulling around that section, looking for the tube. All important here at the pipeline. Get tubed, and that's where the big points are. Pumping down the line, and look at this backdoor section. Phil McDonald, he's come out of that one. What a great ride. Pulls up into another tube. Oh my gosh, that's a great ride by Phil McDonald. He's certainly up there with Andy Irons and most probably in the lead in this final. Wonder what the judges are going to score that. Looks like an 8.27 coming through. Doesn't look quite as deep on this angle on the replay. Pulls up there into the second one and didn't really get barreled. That's most probably why it didn't score as well as Andy Irons'. Kelly Slater manoeuvring himself into position here. This is looking like a late takeoff. Is he going to make it? Grabs his rail and pulls deep into the tube. Oh, like only Kelly can. The only person in the world who can do that as good as he can is Andy Irons. And here on the replay, Kelly Slater, watch the style and grace under pressure. The pipeline, one of the gnarliest, heaviest waves in the world, and Kelly just makes it look so easy. Well, that's a decent score for Kelly, a 4.67. Really only half of what Andy scored on his good ride, so he's got a bit of work to do. Always on hand here, the lifeguards, water patrol. Anything can happen at the pipeline. It's only about a metre deep down to horrible coral reef there. Andy Irons paddling on the inside, but Kelly Slater's picked it up on his outside, pumping down the line, looking for some opportunity on this one. Well, it doesn't look like much. It's not going to be a big score. He's pulled into a little tube there. Coming out onto the shoulder. What's it going to score? 4.5 from the judges. Not a great score. Well, things are getting really tight out there and a lot of pressure on these competitors. Joel Parkinson, here he is. He's got a nice insider. Pulls into the tube. Is he going to make it? Yes, gets out of that one. The first rideable, makeable tube in a while. Bashes it off the top there. Lovely big floater from Joel. But unfortunately comes unstuck. And here it is on the replay. Let's have another look at this as the judges' scores come through. Travelling in the tube. Lovely little barrel and a nice big floater attempt at the end of this one. And there it is, a 6.5. That's really going to put it to Andy Irons. That's his second good score. Joel Parkinson with a 6.5 and a 7.9. But up and riding Andy Irons, looking for that second ride that's going to seal him his world title. Snaps it off the top, pulls into a little cover-up. Gets tube there, pumps along. He needs another turn to get the score. Andy Irons looking for it, and there it is, a last floater. That might be enough to seal him his back-to-back world title. Here's Kelly Slater trying anything. He's desperate at the moment, Kelly. And there's Andy Irons on the replay, the wave that may win him back-to-back ASP World Crowns, as well as back-to-back Triple Crowns and Xbox Pipeline Master Championships. Little frothy whitewater monster there, the last floater manoeuvre. Well, that was a great ride from Andy Irons. He must be happy about that. And up and riding Joel Parkinson on the outside. He's had a good contest, Joel. Snaps it off the top, comes unstuck. Well, it looks like Andy Irons might have this in the bag as he makes his way out the back. Kelly Slater's out there waiting for something. He's had a pretty poor final. Not really in it with the show. He's desperate. And you never know Kelly. You can't count him out. He could pull 10s out of the bag at any time. Andy Irons paddling back out and up and riding. Joel Parkinson pulls into the tube. What a fantastic barrel from Joel. Comes off the top, snaps, lovely roundhouse cut back there off the whitewater. Coming through to the inside and a last floater aerial move there. Joel Parkinson, that was a great ride. And here on the replay, you see him pull in really late and really deep. Great tube and a fantastic stylish cutback. He's at home here. He feels like he's at Snapper Rocks on the Gold Coast. Photographers lined up to catch the moment. The crowning of the ASP World Champion. Kelly Slater pulls in right behind Andy Irons. Almost some sort of an interference possible there. Kelly's desperate. He's trying anything he can. You can see him hassling Andy Irons, paddling around the back of Andy. Nearly got him on an interference and just pulling in late to the tube there. Yeah, but the local Hawaiian boys, there's Bruce Irons. He reckons his brother's done enough to win back-to-back world titles. He'll be joining him on the WCT Tour next year, and that's going to be real interesting. Andy Irons, the 2003 ASP World Championship Tour leader and now champion. There he is out the back celebrating. He had 4 victories this year. Japan, Bells, Fiji and France. And now the Xbox Pipeline Masters for the second year in the row. Kelly Slater there giving him a hug, congratulating him. Kelly did the best he could. He was at his best this year. Served some great contests, also had 4 victories. And for Andy, it must be really satisfying to know that you've won your world title, beating the very best there is. And there, the Kauai boys cheering the 2003 ASP World Surfing Champion up the beach. Congratulations, Andy Irons.
It was going to be up in the air. If I won this year, it was going to be up in the air what I did next year. I had such an enjoyable time this year competing and traveling. I mean, I had a better year this year than I did a lot of years when I won the world title. So I've got to hand it to Andy.
Some closure, end of the year. It's went by so fast, and yeah, I just couldn't wait till it got over. Either win, lose, draw, whatever. I just wanted to get some closure.
He is your winner of the Xbox Jerry Lopez Pipeline Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Irons. He is also the Vans Triple Crown, the surfing champion for 2003 for a second time. Randy, give him his second award.
Signaling perhaps the changing of the guard, 6-time world champion Kelly Slater was called upon to present the 2003 world champion with the symbol of his unparalleled success in the 90s.
Hey, I just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to Andy. I had an amazing year, one of the best years of my life. I never enjoyed myself so much competing, and we were just back and forth, just battling, and it was awesome. I mean, you know, one of us had to win and one of us had to lose, and it couldn't happen a better way. I'm stoked that, you know, we both made the final. And just say that I dedicate the shoe to my dad. I didn't win, but I did this for him, and just congratulations, Andy.
So with the final jostling for tour rankings now complete, the ASP standings for 2003 look like this. In first place is, of course, Andy Irons, who is the only surfer in history to claim back-to-back Pipe Masters, Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, and ASP World Champion titles. He ends the year on 8,964 points. In second is Kelly Slater, who came so close to claiming his 7th world title. We are yet to confirm if the 6-time world champion will be back for another season. Third is Australia's Taj Burrow, who this year had a full tilt crack at the #1 spot. He finishes 2003 on 7,344 points. Mick Fanning, on just his 2nd full year on the tour, has rocketed into #4 in front of best mate and Gold Coast neighbor Joel Parkinson, who has slipped to 5th. Rounding out the top 10, we see American Taylor Knox having a brilliant year to claim 7th after being close to relegation this time last year. And in 10th, it's Dean Morrison on 5,778 points. With a year full of competitive drama, courtesy of the best surfers in the world, competing at the premier breaks of the planet, the ASP World Tour bids farewell to the 2003 season. Rest assured, all the excitement and drama will return in 2004 as the season kicks off in March on Australia's Gold Coast.